What's going on, peoples? We're about to get the show started in just a few minutes. I decided to come on, just let everybody know we're about to start in a few minutes. Going to be talking about Ryan Ramczyk. Going to be talking about other Saints news as well. Just go ahead and get your comments and your questions ready. And we're about to get started in a few minutes here on the State of the Saints podcast. Keep it locked.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. It's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. Shouts out to everybody listening around the country, around the world, wherever you are, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for allowing the State of the Saints podcast to be a part of your listening and viewing pleasure. On this edition, we're going to be talking about Saints offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk, which has been a constant story going on. He restructured his contract. What does that mean for the all-pro right tackle? And we're also going to be answering some of your questions and reading some of your comments here on the show. But if you're new to the channel, I ask that you subscribe. I ask that you hit that like button if you're here right now. And got a few church announcements before we get started. Some of this stuff you probably already heard if you've been rocking with me for a while. As you all know, your boy is now the representative for the New Orleans Saints on Bleacher Report. That's right, Bleacher Report. I'll be working with them this season, covering the New Orleans Saints. We'll be doing podcasts over there on that channel, and we're going to be doing a lot of content. So I want everybody to make sure that you follow me on Bleacher Report. I'll make sure I put that link down in the description so everybody can get that. Look, I'm extremely proud about this accomplishment. Anybody that been rocking with this show, y'all know, man, I don't do no corporate back, and I ain't got a bunch of people that throwing money my way. We did it the hard way, man. We got it out the mud, one show at a time. And I'm just asking everybody, if you love the State of the Saints podcast, you love anything that we do, you love the content, I'm just asking everybody to follow on Bleacher Report. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment. And, honestly, man, it's been a lot of hard work and dedication to get to that point. So if you loved anything or everything that I do, I would ask that you please follow me on Bleacher Report. Download the Bleacher Report app. You can search my name, TJAY Jones, and it'll have like my information on there. So make sure you follow me on Bleacher Report. I really appreciate that. Shouts out to everybody here. Shouts out to all of the people watching around the world. And also a special shout out to all those that's going to catch this after the live. Shouts out to them after show boys.
Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out. To them after show boys, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show boys, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet and be posting, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys.
Oh, now me and Ma. Huh. Shouts out to all them after show boys. But guess what? Guess what, people that's here right now? I did not forget about y'all. I did not forget about y'all. Why should the people that don't watch the show live, why should they get the song? Why should they get a hit? Got a hit for all the people that's watching it live. This is what I need y'all to do. Matter of fact, I'm going to let the song tell y'all what y'all need to do. Hey, what's going on? It's TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and we're about to do what it do, baby. You probably have something to say about the black and gold that's burning hard in your soul. Take those fingers, give them the working. Put them comments in the chat.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you got to do is go ahead and put them things in the chat.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I want to hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Oh, you ain't got to worry about it. All you got to do is talk to me. I talk back to you now.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you got to do is put them comments in the chat.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I want to hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Talk to me. I guarantee you. I'm going to talk right back to you. Had to take y'all to the soul train with that one, man. But shouts out to everybody that's watching this live right now. I really do appreciate it. But enough of all of the openings and church announcements. Let's get down to business. Let's talk a little bit about Ryan Ramczyk. Anybody that knows that I love me some Ryan Ramczyk. My favorite New Orleans Saint. He is one of the most steady players on the team. He has been one of the most consistent players on the team. For the last couple of years, Ryan Ramczyk has been dealing with a knee injury. I mean, it's been causing him to miss practice. It's been causing him to take advantage of veteran days. I mean, the brother is kind of banged up. And, of course, there's a lot of question marks surrounding Ryan Ramczyk. Of course, we know Ryan Ramczyk got surgery this offseason. It was supposed to repair the issues that he was dealing with in his knee, but it did not do what needed to be done. I'm talking the surgery. And of course, we know Dennis Allen, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, mentioned that. He talked a little bit about it at the coach's luncheon or the coach's breakfast. And, he talked about Ryan Ramczyk. We heard the sound bite, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking, man, to know that more than likely the Saints will be without Ram for the entire season. And possibly this could be the end of Ryan Ramczyk's career. Now, there is a silver lining to this dark cloud. We know that the Saints drafted Talaise Fuaga out of Oregon State with the 14th pick in this year's draft. He's supposed to be the real deal Holyfield. Look, I have no problem with Fuaga at all. I think that he is a very, very talented offensive lineman. I think he can be a cornerstone guy, a leader on the team as time goes on. I like everything that he brings to the table. He checks all the boxes. But the big concern is about Ryan Ramczyk. And when you listen to some of the things that are going on with Ryan Ramczyk, some of the things going on with his knee, some of the medical professionals that talk about it, it don't look good, right? And you have to think to yourself, maybe, this could be the end of Ryan Ramczyk as offensive lineman, not only with the New Orleans Saints, but in the NFL as a whole. Now, this hasn't been reported, but I mean, when you think about all the things that you heard, the individuals that I talked to, the medical professionals, it just don't look good. And then you also have to look at what the Saints did with Fuaga. So you got to kind of put two and two together. And if that doesn't help, then you have to check out this article that was written by Saints News Network. And it talks a little bit about Ryan Ramczyk's restructure with the New Orleans Saints. And it may also be an indicator. Okay, so Ryan Ramczyk, I'm reading this. This is according to Bob Rose. Shouts out to Bob, man. Shouts out to Bob Rose, a good guy right there. Want to get him on the show definitely in the future. I never had him on the show, man, but I'm a huge fan of his work. think he's one of the best journalists out there covering the team. Says Ryan Ramczyk and the New Orleans Saints have agreed to a restructured contract this offseason. Ramczyk reworked deal including $6.5 million in guaranteed money. However, a large portion now includes up to $9 million in potential bonuses. Now, this is according to Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football. There are 4 major incentives in the 2024 in a newly worded contract for Ryan Ramczyk. Okay, here it is. $1 million for the Pro Bowl selection. He gets another $1 million if he becomes an All-Pro. He gets another $1 million for at least 90% of his offensive snaps, and he gets up to $6 million for other playing time clauses that they included inside of his contract. Now, having an incentive-laden contract based on what Ryan Ramczyk has done throughout his career, to me, is an indicator that this is more than likely going to be the beginning of the end. We've seen players like Malcolm Jenkins and Drew Brees kind of sign contracts similar to this one. And look, you got to put 2 and 2 together here. It's not looking good for Ryan Ramczyk. It's not looking good from what I see. Now, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that we rewind this and Ryan Ramczyk comes back and he plays in the NFL. But you have to think about a player of his talent, how talented he is, some of the injuries that he sustained. Why in the world would he, agree to an incentive-laden contract like that, right? I mean, you can talk about the $6.5 million in guaranteed money, but nobody wants to play on the incentive-laden contract, no matter what the condition is or how much they've been hurt. So I just think that this is an indication that this could be possibly the end. Ryan Ramczyk as an offensive lineman, not just with the Saints, but in the National Football League. I mentioned this before. I like Ryan Ramczyk. I love Ryan Ramczyk, as a matter of fact. What he brings to the table. I mentioned this on X. I said that I feel the right tackle position has been the most steady position over the last 20 years. Like, if you think back to different skill positions that the Saints have, the right tackle position has been the most sturdy out of all those positions. Like, just think about it, right? And they had the right tackles going back in 2003 when the Saints drafted John Stinchcomb. And then after John Stinchcomb left, then Zach Strief, picked up the banner. And then after Zach Strief retired, then in comes Ryan Ramczyk. And everybody's saying that this guy checking the boxes. So if something was to happen to Ryan Ramczyk and he can't play again, it looked like Talaiese Fuaga may be able to be that right tackle for the New Orleans Saints. So this has been a steady position, man. And look, I love Ryan Ramczyk, but I want to see this man be able to play with his kids. I want to see this man be able to walk around with his wife and enjoy his retirement. And of course, every player has those lingering injuries and issues from playing football all those years. But you want him to be to a point where he can be able to hold up and be able to do the things that he loves to do. Like, football is something that we all love, but we have to realize that these are human beings too. At the end of the day, they do an extraordinary job that many of us wish we could do. But I'm looking at this as a man who is a father, on top of just being a really talented football player. So if that's the case and he has to jeopardize his future, I'm all for this man sitting down. I'm not trying to see this man go out there and in a couple of years we're seeing like a reunion for the New Orleans Saints, some of the best of all time, and watching Ryan Ramczyk being wheeled into the building. Nah, I'm not trying to see that. Right. So hopefully everything pans out for Ryan Ramczyk. I'm hoping that everything is on up and up. But like I said, looking at this contract and this incentive-laden contract like this, normally guys who have serious injuries normally sign contracts like this, or guys that are about to retire. I mean, it's just that plain and simple. But hopefully Ryan Ramczyk could, whatever he does, I just hope that he has a clean bill of health doing it. Right. I just want to make that very, very clear. But let me go ahead and read some of your comments. This is not going to be a long show tonight, folks. Just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about Ryan Ramczyk's contract and answer some of your questions. Brian says, we in rebuild of our line, we get to see what they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think that this offensive line needed a little bit of a touch up. I feel like this offensive line needed to be able to change some things around. I think you need some fresh faces, some hungry faces on the line. And I think they're doing the right thing. And it could possibly start with Fuaga. He checks all the boxes, and he's a talented football player. So this could be the start of something positive. And the Saints' offensive line definitely needs an overhaul, and they need a new found lease on life, something that we have not seen over the last couple of years. They need to get better, especially if the Saints are going to be a committed to a run type offense as we expect them to be. So this offensive line is going to have to figure some things out. I don't care about restructures of the line. I don't care about the new faces. As long as those guys are being coached up and they're doing their very, very best out there every single Sunday, I don't have a problem with a new line. Good thing we drafted Fuaga. Yeah, I think Fuaga was the draft pick because the Saints know things that we don't. Like they knew about James Hurst wanting to retire weeks before that happened, before everybody found out. So they kind of had their ducks in a row. That would probably explain some of the guys that they brought in. That would explain like some of the decisions that they made. And that's a good thing. Those guys being transparent about their conditions or their feelings. If you're James Hurst, about wanting to play again. So I'm not mad at the decision, and I got to give a shout out to the Saints for getting their ducks in a row. As long as they're doing that, they should be fine. Already read that, stroll down just a little bit more. I've been screaming about that O-line the last 2 seasons. I think a lot of people have had their concerns about this offensive line. And me personally, I kind of feel like Drew Brees kind of made this offensive line better than what it was. And I think that it's kind of like peeling back the layers, and we're seeing what this offensive line really is without Drew. It is just a testament to how great Drew Brees was. Because we know that sometimes those defenders got into the backfield and Drew Brees just got rid of the football. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was one year the NFL Top 100 was on, and Gerald McCoy was talking about Drew Brees, and he said Drew Brees is probably the most irritating quarterback that he has to play against. He was like, because when you get your hands on him, he just throws the ball away. And that could have been a sack, but that shows you the knowledge and the intelligence that Drew Brees had. And in the process, you got to think about this. If Drew Brees throws the ball away before the defender puts him to the ground, that's just an incomplete pass. And that's not a knock on the offensive line. That's not them giving up a sack or anything like that. So basically, if Drew Brees does that enough, it makes the offensive line numbers look a little bit skewed. So I think that Drew made this line better than what it was. I think that those guys were talented, but I think with Drew Brees, it just made these guys look a little bit better than they actually were at the time. You can tell a really good offensive line based on the quarterback, the quality of quarterback. Like sometimes those quarterbacks can kind of make that offensive line look good, but there's also times where the offensive line, if they don't have a really good quarterback and you see them out there blocking, I think that tells you a lot more about the offensive line versus an elite quarterback that comes in and that can do certain things and know what to do if he's under duress and making smart decisions. Sometimes those numbers can get skewed because of great quarterback play. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes, those offensive line that's out there doing it with mediocre quarterback play, that's a testament to their offensive line. Is Penny a total waste, or is there hope for him? I think you're talking about Penny, Trevor Penny. Well, look, I'm not ready to throw the towel in on a guy who's going into his 3rd season. I just think that we see guys that are first-round draft picks and we expect for them to be great right away, and that's just not the case. Sometimes guys are going to hit the ground running, and they're going to be as advertised, and then there are going to be guys that are works in progress. And I'm not mad at Penny for not being everything that we want him to be. I also think that a lot of that has to do with coaching. And the Saints have fired a lot of the offensive coaches, if not all of the offensive coaches, and they got some new coaches in there. So if I'm looking at 2024. I'm looking at Trevor Penning to take steps forward because the Saints said that the coach and Doug Marrone wasn't good enough. So we're going to go out here. We're going to get another offensive coordinator. I mean, not off. Yeah, offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach, and we're going to see if this actually works. So if they bring a guy in who has a reputation of helping offensive linemen reach their full potential, and he's right where he once was, I think you have your answer. But I'm not ready to give up on a guy just because he was drafted in the first round. We expect guys to be drafted in the first round. We expect for them to be rookies of the year or run up for rookie of the year, but that's just not always the case. And sometimes guys need to develop. And I just think that Penning just needs to develop. And I think that Saints fans, we just have to be patient. I understand that we expected for him to be great, but I mean, I don't think that the story is written about Trevor Penning. I mean, he's going into his third season. So let's just be a little bit patient with him. Crazy, but I think Rattler got the gene escapability. Well, I love me some Spencer Rattler. I really do. I think that he has all the tools to be a great quarterback in the league, a starting quarterback in the league. But I mean, that remains to be seen. And, I do have high expectations for him, especially like if he gets an opportunity to go out there and play. I'm not expecting for him to do what CJ Stroud did or Cam Newton did in their rookie year, but I expect to see some flashes. Like you're gonna see interceptions, you're gonna see overthrown passes, you're gonna see stuff like that from rookies. And sometimes I just think that we're hard on rookies. Like if we go to practice or we see some footage and we see a rookie like overthrow a player and it gets intercepted. Oh man, he a bum. Get him up out of here. Like, come on, man. Like, this is a whole different speed that these dudes are trying to deal with. Like in college is a completely different speed from the pros. And everybody's not going to catch on right away. So I expect for him to go through the motions. I expect for, things not to work in his favor right away. If it does, I'll be shocked. But I do expect big things from him. As long as he remains humble, he goes in and becomes a student of the game. There's opportunities right now that he gets an opportunity to get mental reps, take advantage of that. But I expect for him to be, a talented quarterback as long as he stays humble and he's a student of the game. But I'm not expecting for him to be all world right away. Right? I just think that's wishful thinking. The issue with our team is the starters goes down, then the team goes with it. Yeah, Albert, I definitely agree with that. I do feel like, the Saints have depth issues. I think that maybe a lot of the game plan does kind of focus more on the starters, which it should. But this is why those other guys need to step up. And that's one of the reasons why also they need to look at themselves as starters, even if you're not, because you're just one play away from getting significant playing time. Like if you're A.T. Perry, I mean, that's your reality. So if somebody says you're a third, fourth string quarterback, wide receiver on the depth chart, then guess what? Like I'm still a starter. Because injuries do occur, especially at certain positions. And those guys have to be ready. But that's with any team, man. I mean, you think Tyreek Hill, is not going to be the focal point? You don't think like if something was to happen to Tyreek with the Miami Dolphins, you don't think it would be a significant difference in the offensive play? Of course it will, because he gets the majority of the targets. That's just the way that it goes. You can't just sit up here and say, man, there's a possibility that Chris Olave can get hurt. So let me focus in on A.T. Perry all practice long. No. I mean, if guys go down, then you just kind of pick up the slack. But that's what those mental reps are for. That's what those after practice sessions are for. That's what the film study is for you to be ready, right? I mean, be ready so you don't have to get ready. Already read that. Says O-line coach was trash and Penny wasn't taught anything. Yeah, man, we can't just talk about the coaches and say that they're not good enough, and then all of a sudden, like we expect the players to be everything that we want them to be. Like if we're talking about the coaches and the players not really doing what we need them to do, I mean, you got to look at the coaches too, right? And I don't think we do that enough. And I've said that on shows, quite a few shows lately. I don't think that we look at the coaches enough. I think we always looking at the players. If he a first round draft pick and he don't pan out, we don't never really be focusing on the coaches. And also, if we do focus on the coaches, I think it's only fair that we cut these guys some slack too, especially if those coaches aren't getting the best out of those players. We're saying these things. So if we're actually saying these things, we can't have it both ways. We can't have mediocre coaching and expect extraordinary effort. Like, yeah, it might be given extraordinary effort, but what they're being taught may not be good enough. Or the coaches only taught them enough to get them right here, right? And some games they need to be here. But if they never been taught to be here, how you expect for them to be here, right? They always going to be right there. Plain and simple. I mean, that's anything in life. If somebody's all right, if you've been taught your entire time at work, right? Everything in the mailroom. Let's just say you start off in the mailroom because it's a pecking order to this, right? You start off in the mailroom, you're doing the mail. There's a process, right? Somebody teaches you and trains you how to do that, right? So you efficient. But let's just say somebody from the executive floor comes downstairs and say, hey, I need you to look through these portfolios right here. I need you to let me know what the numbers were for last quarter. What? Are you going to automatically know what he's talking about? Heck no. Like if somebody just gives you something that you're not prepared for, how do you expect for anybody to, how do you expect to do it? I should say. It's not happening. It's not happening. All right. So, I mean, cut this guy some slack, especially if we looking at how trash Doug Marrone was as offensive line coach. I think that's only fair. Now, if guys are putting forward poor efforts and, it's being taught to them, now that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. But when guys are getting fired because of the ineptitude, I think we need to cut these guys some slack. Yeah, the Saints have had so many opportunities to get number one seeds, get in the playoffs, door wide open, and we somehow moonwalk out the window. Well, look, that window is closed, man. The window has a nail in it. Nobody believes in the New Orleans Saints besides Saints fans. Look, I don't sugarcoat. I'm sorry. 186 people watching it right now. I don't sugarcoat. I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to blow smoke up your behind. I'm going to tell you for what it is, right? We go through the motions together here on the State of the Saints podcast. If things are going great, great. If they're not, then we need to talk about it. And right now, nobody believes in this team. Nobody believes in this football team. Nobody expects for the Saints to make the playoffs. You look at all of the power rankings, like they rank bottom 20, mid 20, late, even some 30s. Some people feel like that's unfair, but how can you say that's unfair when Dennis Allen was ranked? As of right now, Dennis Allen is the worst coach when it comes to like rankings and stuff like that. He's the worst coach in the National Football League. You got to think about it, right? Because all the coaches that were below him towards the end of the season when they did the survey, they're gone. They're fired. So that only leaves him. So he's the worst coach in the National Football League, for better or for worse. I'm just saying what the statistics said. I'm not, look, this isn't my opinion as of right now. Do I feel like he leaves a lot to be desired? Absolutely. And honestly, if he's being real with himself, he should know that. But all I'm saying is, according to the analytics, he is ranked the worst coach in the National Football League. Whether you believe that or not. But a lot of people feel like he is. And a lot of prognosticators feel that he's not going to be the head coach at the end of this season. People feel like he might not even make it through the season. So when you have that type of stuff going on, you can't expect everybody to say, oh, you're going to be great or you're going to be wonderful. And also, you got to admit, like, this team has to find a new identity. We don't know what the Saints' identity is. We know what to expect going into 2024 based on Clint Kubiak and who he learned from. So we expect more of a rushing attack from the New Orleans Saints, kind of setting up play action passes and maybe short intermediate passes and opening up spaces in order for your playmakers to make plays. But all that right now is just speculation. Like, we don't know what this is going to look like. But everybody expects for the Saints to fall flat on their face. And I said this on the last show. Can you blame them? Like, can you blame them? What's the only thing that's really holding you together? It's basically just your love for the team. Like, you don't want to see other people talking about the team, but hell, man, like, ain't nobody about to jump out the window for no Saints. You're not going to jump out the window for the New Orleans Saints right now. Nobody's going to say, man, the Saints about to win the Super Bowl. Because the first thing I would think is what you've been smoking and what you've been drinking. We just expect some level of stability. Like, if the Saints are flirting with the playoffs around week 14, week 15, we excited. But the expectations are minimal, right? And the bar is like really low because of how this coaching staff under Dennis Allen makes Saints fans feel. So yeah, to me, the window is closed because you don't have an identity. You don't really have a coach that a lot of people feel like is the answer. And there's questions about the front office and how they're operating right now. So until those questions are answered, people are always going to feel this way about this team because nobody believes in Dennis Allen and nobody believes in Derek Carr for the most part. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, but this is the best. This is the best way I can put it. Like, if you want sugarcoating, I can give you reasons like why I feel like they can be better, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, they gotta prove it. They have to prove that they're worthy of being talked about, being mentioned, being acknowledged in any way. And you do that by winning. If you don't win, then you ain't getting nothing. But the window is closed, man. That's it. When Drew Brees retired, man, New Orleans lost something for real. They lost something. Like, to me, I'm gonna be real. If Sean Payton would have left the New Orleans Saints, Dennis Allen would have replaced him, and Drew Brees would have still been a quarter. Let's just say if Drew Brees had at least about 3 or 4 more years in him, right? Before like the diminishing of the arm strength and all that kind of stuff. Let's just say he had about 3 or 4 more years in him. Saints would be in the playoffs, probably even in the Super Bowl. Because if you look at the NFC, I mean, ain't got no world beaters up in there. Like, do you think that Drew Brees couldn't outdo Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy? I think so. So all I'm saying is, like, when Drew Brees retired, the Saints lost something. And when he retired, that's when the window officially closed. Because I just think, once again, Drew Brees, his greatness kind of blinded a lot of people. And by him retiring, it exposed a lot of people. It made some people that looked like they were really good, made them look like it just peeled back the layers to me. It just made me wonder, like, where were they? You know what I'm saying? Because it just seemed like, the talent level, the sense of urgency, all that stuff left with Drew. So the window is closed, man. I mean, there's always a way that you can get that thing open. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get the crowbar, right? You'll be, get the back part of the hammer. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the bar. But man, you gotta win some football games. There's a lot of people saying that we are a sleeper team. They could be. I mean, here's the thing. Just like every Sunday for the last couple of years, you don't know what you're going to get from the Saints. And that's the most frustrating thing about it. The Saints had no identity. Like, you did not know what you were going to get from week to week, Roderick. You just didn't. Like, one week, the Saints might look like straight slaw. The next week, the team that they're going up against may not even cross the 50. Then the next week, when you all excited because the defense put forward a stellar performance, the offense kind of complimented it, here they go again, fumbling all over themselves. Like, there is no balance. It's mostly like, okay, man, we're going to throw something against the wall hoping that it stick, right? There's this episode of The Simpsons, And it was an episode about Homer. He was coaching Bart's Pee Wee football team. And it was in the middle of the game. Bart goes to the sideline, says, I need to play. And Homer like, hold on, wait a minute. So he's looking at this electronic football game, and they got the little characters spinning around in a circle. And he's like, okay, you go this way, and you spin around in a circle. That's kind of like what it is. Like, throw something against the wall and hope that it stick. No real, no real commitment to the running game. No real commitment to the passing game. None of that. Like, okay, we threw the ball 3 times and it worked. Let's do it again. Like, how? How's that going to work? It's not. Like, there's no identity. So until the Saints actually figure out who the hell they are, like, we're gonna feel the way that we're feeling right now. All this talent, but look who's driving the boat. Losing head coach and a veteran quarterback that hasn't won anything. There's still room for improvement. Well, I tell you what, there's only one way to go, and that's up. Rather it's with these individuals or it's with someone else. I mean, the only way you can go is up. But I mean, looking at this talent, looking at what they have across the board, I believe in this football team. I believe in them. I believe that this football team can make the playoffs. I really do. Like, I look at the NFC as a whole. I don't see a team that just looks like they just leaps and bounds better than every other team in the NFC. Like, I just don't. Like, I just think it's an equal playing field. Like, mediocre quarterback play. I feel like the Saints in the NFC, they got a better shot. They got just big of a shot than any other team in the NFC. I mean, but I definitely agree. I think that there is levels to this when it comes to the head coaching. I don't trust Dennis Allen as a coach to be able to make those decisions, to be able to help them win football games consistently. And the reason why I feel that way is not because I have a personal vendetta against Dennis Allen. I just question it because I have not really seen it. It just seems like when he go up against like high profile coaches that really know what they're doing, that's really dialed in, he gets out coached. I mean, and just being in a game and showing hustle and grit, like that's year one type stuff. Like all this stuff, man. We show grit, we show fight. Nah, bruh. You need to be reaping the harvest right now. That's what you need to be doing. Like, this is year 3. This team should know you. You should know the team. All of those mainstays that was with Sean Payton, they're gone. This is your team. So with that, we need to see who you really are. There's no more cover up for Dennis Allen. You can't cover it up with Pete Carmichael's play calling. You can't cover it up with saying, oh, these are Sean Payton mainstays. This is your team. You have drafted 3 draft classes? This is your football team. Whoever's here, you wanted them to be here. If they're not here, you didn't want them to be here. Case in point, Andres Pete signing with the Vegas Raiders, or soon to be signing with the Vegas Raiders, if you have not already prior to this show. But all I'm saying is, this is your team. So there's no more excuses. There's not an excuse that the front office can give to Saints fans to say that Dennis Allen, let's just give him another chance. No. If they give him another opportunity after another failed season, they are risking alienating his fan base and people are going to tune out. So you got to get it done. You got to get it done. You have the talent to get it done. If you don't have the right head coach and he can't get it done, you need to find somebody else that will before you really squander a lot of these talented players, prime and contract, like when they're on minimal contracts, rookie contracts, like you're risking that. And if you start winning and now you got to end up paying guys, like you're going to find yourself being in the same spot. So hopefully you kind of get yourself out of this hole by drafting the right way, trying to get quality players, and developing the players that you draft. Roll, you mean dead and old. You have to be like that to survive week to week. Keno, I'm not exactly know what y'all. I don't know if y'all just discussing something. They'll always have the injury excuse in their back pocket. Well, look, we see teams, suffer significant injuries to players all the time, and they still make the playoffs. They still go out there and win. They still find ways to win. Like we seen the Pittsburgh Steelers on several years. Like Big Ben go down, in comes Mason Rudolph to kind of right the ship. They win maybe three, 3 out of 5 games or something like that with Mason Rudolph in. If you're a good coach, you're gonna find ways to win. And I can tell you this right here: you're not gonna tell me that you're focused on winning when Derek Carr is your quarterback, and you have seen him all last year deal with injuries that could have possibly caused him to miss games. And you follow that up with signing Nathan Peterman, a struggling quarterback in the National Football League. Kellen Mond, a guy who is basically a journeyman, and you got, Jake Hayner, who is young and inexperienced. And then now you just drafted Spencer Rattler, who is also young and inexperienced. Like, these are not the type of moves that you make if you're talking about making a run at this whole situation. That's just me personally. Like, you don't go out here and draft. Just say I'm gonna roll with these youngsters, unless Jake Hayner, like you've been watching film in the offseason. This man just basically just looks otherworldly, and you just think that, man, this guy could possibly be, our backup quarterback, or we're comfortable with him being a starter. And if you're Dennis Allen, are you going to hitch your wagon to Jake Hayner if something was to happen to the quarterback that you chose to come to New Orleans? Like that type of stuff right there just tells me, like, you care more about Derek Carr's feelings and his ego than you do about winning. Because there was Jimmy Garoppolo that was out there. There was Gardner Minshew that was out there. Like, solid guys that are solid quarterbacks that have won games. Are they world beaters? Hell no. But at least if they were to be thrust into the game, you still have a chance of winning said football game. You put Nathan Peterman in the game, everybody turn the TV off because they know what the inevitable is. Like, stuff like that just tells me, like, are you sure about this? Like, what are we doing? So you got to be able to step it up. You got to be able to step it up. Like, I do feel like Derek Carr will possibly play better this season because the way that the offense is going to be structured, they're not looking for him to be the quarterback throwing the ball 35 times per game. They're looking to run the football. And they expect for him to, do the play action thing, maybe throw some short and intermediate passes, wide receiver screens, working on the blocking on the outside, allow these playmakers to make plays, right? I mean, that's what they expect. So I expect for them to take the ball out of Derek Carr's hand. So when he does get the ball and probably a little bit of a down tick, he'll probably just take advantage of those opportunities. I mean, but at the same time, you got to get this offensive line fixed because you might be in a very serious situation. If Derek gets hurt. Let's see. The Patrick Mahomes got Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs definitely going back to the Super Bowl. That boy run a 4.2. That's Tyreek Hill and Jameson Williams all together. Look, I don't know what Xavier Worthy is going to be. I mean, there's some guys that are super fast, don't pan out. And then there's guys that are super fast that turn into Deshaun Jackson and Tyreek Hill. So just because he runs a 4.2 don't mean that, he's going to be a great wide receiver. Like, yeah, I mean, that's beneficial to the Chiefs because now Patrick Mahomes has a downfield threat. But man, you got to do the job. I mean, they probably thought Skylar Moore was going to be there too. I mean, Skylar Moore, he's a burner too. Kadarius Toney, he'll burner too. But those guys barely get any playing time. So it's a matter of, like, going out there and playing and doing the damn thing. If you're not, then you just a guy that's just fast. Like I don't think speed, just having speed is just one thing to have speed, but you also have to have other things to go along with it. I'm gonna read a few more, then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, folks. I ask that you hit the like button. 216 people watching this right now. Jamal says Mickey is probably the worst GM in the league, always giving away draft picks and other teams in the trade. Jamal, I don't think he's the worst general manager in the league, but I also feel like uh, there's this sense of arrogance about Mickey Loomis. Like, I think that when you have had success, when you are responsible for bringing in a head coach that gave the Saints the most success they ever had as a franchise, and gave the Saints more stability than they ever had as a franchise, of course you have this level of confidence in yourself. I think Mickey believes in himself, but I also think that Mickey sometimes is too loyal to a fault. Um, I like that about Mickey, to be honest with you. I like the fact that he's willing to be patient and, willing to give people opportunities to develop. I don't feel like, a GM needs to have a trigger finger or have the patience of a high school teacher. But I do feel like, sometimes his loyalty kind of clouds his judgment because maybe, he develops a relationship with these individuals, and it's kind of tough to have those conversations. Like I can imagine that it was tough to have a conversation with Pete after the Saints 2023 season. After, Pete Carmichael has been around you, and I'm pretty sure y'all done hung out a couple times, probably been by each other's house. Like it's probably tough to be able to look at Pete and say, I think we need to go in a different direction. So I think that sometimes like the Saints' loyalty and love for a player or a coach sometimes, stops them from, creating true progress. Like I can think about a couple of years ago when the Saints defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. This coaching staff was not very good. The Joe Vitts, the Lombardis, the Johnsons, I'm saying? All them different guys that were on the coaching staff that were past their prime. And people were like, man, the Saints need an overhaul. They need to do something different. And, Sean Payton held on to him. Mickey held on to him. And then finally, when the defense just couldn't stop nobody, that's when all of a sudden you start seeing Rob Ryan come through the door and bringing in a different defensive staff. And of course, they finally settled with Dennis Allen. But it was tough to have that conversation. So I just think that sometimes they're probably too loyal to a fault. And that causes the Saints to make these decisions or hold on to these guys a little bit too long. But look, you got to cut your losses if Dennis Allen don't work out this season. Like, I mean, that's just a fact. Like, if he doesn't work out, you're basically wasting everybody's time. You're wasting everybody's time. Now, I don't want to see anybody get fired. But if you're not good at your job, it's just what happens. It's a business. It's a big boy business. And he knows that. I'm talking Dennis Allen. He knows that he needs to win. I mean, he's not delusional. I would hope not. So you got to win because Saints fans are getting restless and coming to the podium if with the confidence like people gonna be around and stick around and be supporting this as long as it's on TV. Like, nah, bruh. People want to, if you show a person that you're not loyal or you're not committed to winning or committed to success or any way, shape, or form, or even if that's not the case and people get that indication, they ain't gonna rock with you. They ain't gonna rock with you. They're not gonna spend the time rocking with you. So you got to give them something to believe in. But it was a good draft though, so it was a good start, and it's showing me that they actually give a damn, which I can appreciate. We don't develop rookies. No Perry if Mike T didn't get hurt. Yeah, I mean, but look, Dre, understand this. If there's no spot for the guy, how can you just sit up there and just develop him? Like you can't really give a fourth or fifth string wide receiver first team reps. Like, okay, guys, look, this is a fourth string receiver right here. We're going to have him in for the first. Like, you only can think about this. Everybody got a spare tire, right? But think about this. Would you take your tire that working really fine Would you take it off your car, put it in your trunk, and replace it with the spare tire and ride on it? No. It's called a spare tire, right? If something was to happen to one of your main tires, you're gonna use that spare tire. But you don't look for, you know what I'm saying, like to use that tire. You'll look in the back and kind of squeeze on it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, okay, man, it's inflated. But you're not looking to use it. But if the tire goes out, then everybody, you know what I'm saying, you tearing your trunk up trying to look for it. But it's only when it's necessary. So I say that to say this. If you don't need A.T. Perry, you're not looking for A.T. Perry. But if you need him, of course, you're going to try to make sure that he's out there and you're going to try to give it the tender love and care that it needs. But yeah, he's not going to get first team reps. He's not going to get starting reps unless something goes awry. That's just with anybody. I mean, I feel like with that's unfair. Like I don't want to get upset with the Saints because they expect Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, and Michael Thomas to kind of be their pass catchers for, you know what I'm saying, when it's time to throw the football in Alvin in the back out the backfield. I'm not upset with them because that's what we all see. If we did a depth chart right now, and this is 2023, that would be the guys that we'll roll with. Nobody would be saying anything about A.T. Perry. I mean, nobody would be like, okay, man, let me get rid of Rashid Shaheed and put A.T. Perry right here. Chris Olave, let me put A.T. No, you're not. He's the spare tire. You hope that he's there, like, when you need him, but you're not looking for him. You're not looking for A.T. Perry unless something goes wrong. So I mean, I gotta give them. I gotta defend them in that regard. Like I'm not looking for A.T. Perry unless something goes wrong. The first 4 games will determine Dennis Allen's future. I don't think so, Slim South. I don't think that the 4 game, like to us, to us it would. Because hey man, we look if the Saints lose 17-16 in week 1, we looking to fire this dude. So we have the patience of a high school teacher, Saints fans. But I don't think the Saints are looking at it that way. I honestly feel like this is no lie. This is no lie. If the Saints go throughout the entire season, they don't win. They have a losing record, but they're in every game. I don't think they'll fire Dennis Allen. I don't. It would have to take a Brandon Staley type loss. Like when the Chargers played the Raiders on Thursday night. It would take something like that. It would have to be the entire world have to see this. Like, to me personally, I don't feel like if Brandon Staley and the Chargers played the Raiders in a 3:00 game, and it wasn't America's game of the week, it was just on in the second block, but the majority of the country was watching, I don't know, Packers and Steelers or Packers and Cowboys or something. I don't feel like he would have got fired. But it was just the fact that everybody saw this. Like the entire world saw this. You got social media like, man, this dude needs to go. This dude needs to go. It would have to take something like that in order for Dennis Allen to be fired, in my opinion. Like it would have to be like the Saints play on Thursday night and they ass beat, like by the Falcons or something like that, like just getting smacked around, embarrassed. And it just, it's indefensible. Like that's the only way I see this dude getting fired. But if the Saints like fighting in every game and they still losing, I feel like Mickey Loomis will wait to the end of the season to fire Dennis Allen. I do. I think he'll be fired that Monday, but I don't think they will get rid of him. So TJ, based on how the offense is expected to be run, it's 3,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a realistic stat line on the season for Carr. I mean, I can see that. I can see that stat line. I mean, based on the offense, and yeah, I can see them like rocking with something like that. That's a very Brock Purdy-ish like stat line right there. 3,426 and 11. Yeah, I can see that. I can see him throwing less interceptions than 10. I mean, than 11. I can see him throwing less. You think they would fire Dennis Allen mid-season? Nah, I don't. It would have to take something catastrophic in order for him to get fired. That's just me. Like, they just don't roll like that. Like, when have the Saints? I'm trying to think. When have the Saints ever fired a coach mid-season? I mean, I think they always wait to the end of the season to fire a coach. I'm trying to say, did they fire Mike Dick in the middle of the season? Did they fire Jim Moore in the middle of the season? I don't know, man. I have to think. Like, maybe like back in the day, maybe maybe Bum Phillips or something like that. Maybe one of them other coaches, but I can't remember in my lifetime. And if it was, I was way too young to remember. But they let these coaches figure it out. Mrs. Benson, please cut Mickey Loomis after June 1st. If you can't bear to fire him, then just reassign him to a job, either food service or his Stadia Parker, says Danny. Well, that's going to be kind of hard to do. Mickey Loomis is the vice president of the New Orleans Saints and the general manager, which means he's third in command of the entire team. So strip away the general manager role from him, he's still the vice president of the team. That's what people need to understand. So when people say, like, man, fire Mickey, yeah, okay. You fire him and he goes to a position that's even more powerful than the position that he has as general manager. Like, what can you do? So even if he says, okay, I'm not going to be the general manager anymore, I'm going to be the vice president. Guess who would be responsible for hiring the next general manager? Guess who will be able to override the general manager's decision if he just steps down? Mickey Loomis. So it's not just as easy as you're not doing your job, you're fired. This man was left in the will of Tom Benson to take over the team. Tom Benson looked at Mickey Loomis like a son. He had to. If he didn't look at, like, think about this. Can you imagine the love that Tom Benson had for Mickey Loomis, that he would leave you part of his entire life's work? Like, it took his entire life to be able to buy the New Orleans Saints through all of the entrepreneurial things that he had done in order for him to accumulate the money to buy the New Orleans Saints. And your dying wish was to have Mickey Loomis, like one of your dying wishes was to have Mickey Loomis run your franchise. I mean, I don't know. Like, this is what they say. Shouts out to my bud Jono. This is more than a game, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is bigger than just X's and O's and Willies and Joes here, folks. So he is more powerful than just being a general manager. So that's why it is imperative that they get it right, because he is not going to say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And, the chances of him being fired are slim to none. TJ, I never thought as a fan I would be this devoid of expectations for my team from week to week. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going with the motions. I'm just going with the flow. I'm going through the motions just like everybody else in the Who Dat Nation. Like, I want them to win. Am I going to jump out the window and say they're going to win? No. Would I be happy if they do? Yes. Do I feel like they got the talent to be successful? Absolutely. But it's all a matter of how you're going to approach this season. How you're going to approach it. Marley, it was ugly all first quarter. Let's see. I really want to see a game live this season, but yeah. Hey, man, I think everybody feel this way, man. I think everybody is unenthused about this team, man. That man said unenthused. Let's see. I think if DA wasn't always acting like nothing is wrong and all is well, we wouldn't be so hard on him. Well, I just think that Saints fans are used to a certain type of coach. like Sean Payton, for better or for worse, no matter how you feel about Sean Payton today, you believed in the man. Like you believed in him. You believed if something was to go wrong, he was going to fix it. Because more than likely he probably would. And there were a lot of things about Sean Payton that we have grown accustomed to. And looking at Dennis Allen compared to Sean Payton, I got appreciation for Sean Payton. It also speaks to his intelligence, because I said this and I'm going to continue to say it. And I really feel like if a member of the New Orleans Saints organization just so happened to stumble across this podcast, which I'm pretty sure they won't, but if there's a slight chance that they do, my suggestion would be stop letting Dennis Allen talk about injuries. Like, just tell the media, just like Sean Payton did, we got an injury report coming out. Y'all see. And basically, it was all speculation, right? Like, we'll look at Ryan Ramczyk, knee. But we speculating, how bad is the knee? How much time he going to miss? Like, nobody sit up here and had Sean Payton in a corner and said, well, you said last week that it wasn't that bad. Why is he missing 3, 4, 5, 6 games? Like, you're basically putting your foot in your mouth, and you're also frustrating people because you make them feel like you don't have a good hand on the team, a good pulse on the team. So my suggestion would be stop disclosing injuries, especially if those injuries are going to end up being something that the Who Dat Nation is going to be frustrated about. That would be number one. Number two, I just feel like, and this may not be him, but it's just the energy level. Like, you want somebody that you can actually believe in, feel like they have the answers. And to me, sometimes, and I could be wrong, but sometimes it just feels like Dennis Allen basically just be saying stuff just so people can get off the case. And what's frustrating is, as time goes on, something is the narrative changes. And it, like I said, it just makes people feel like you don't know what you're talking about. So me, I would not talk about injuries anymore. I just say refer to the injury report. Because that is the number one thing that frustrates Saints fans. When they feel that a player is injured and they say, oh, it's not that bad, or it's looking about 1 or 2 weeks, and then the next thing you know, you don't see this guy again. I just say stop talking about injuries. Yeah, it'd be frustrated because you don't know, but even when he talks, like, do you really know? So are you missing anything? If he goes out there and say, oh, we expect him to be out for 2 weeks and he's gone for the rest of the season, like, doesn't matter if they don't say anything at all. Like, you still don't know what the hell's going on. So you do better not saying anything at all. We have to really appreciate Drew Brees. That dude was the alpha dog leader of men, and he made Sean Payton look really good. Well, I think they made each other look real good. I'm not on board to say that Drew Brees just carried Sean Payton, but I do feel like Drew Brees, the Saints would have been in better shape if Sean Payton was just to step down and Drew Brees still had some time. Like, I still feel like the Saints will be a playoff team. They'll probably still be winning the South. I don't feel like they'll miss a beat because the things that Pete Carmichael would call, Drew Brees would just audible out of that because if it don't look right. So you have that going for you. But yeah, I mean, I think that they kind of complement each other. Like, it's almost like Jordan and Pippen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, can Jordan go off without Pippen on the floor? Absolutely. But at the same time, sometimes you need Pippen to play that defense, right? To be able to lock down this star player. You need Pippen to shoot a 3 from the side. You need Pippen to drive to the lane. You know what I'm saying? If Jordan being double covered here, you know what I'm saying? Getting that double team. So, they needed each other. They complemented each other. Like, I just say, elite player can rise above coaching and rise above their circumstance. But yeah, you needed that coach. You needed that coach. So I'm not going to say that, like, people making this theory, okay, because Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with Tampa. Oh, Bill Belichick, he didn't need Bill Belichick. That's not true. That ain't true. Like, they needed each other. And just because he won one without him don't mean that, oh, you know what I'm saying, like Bill Belichick was worthless. You know, man, y'all seen Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was phoning it in the last couple of years. I mean, y'all seen it, man. This man coming up out of chick's house with no shirt on. Man, fool out here at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, leaving the chick house with no shirt on. Like if that don't show you that, if I don't give a damn was a person, like that would be Bill Belichick. Like this man was like checked out. Like it's over with. It's over with. Done with. So I don't know. I think they needed each other. Sean needed Drew. Drew needed Sean. Belichick needed Brady, and Brady needed Belichick. Wouldn't doubt it. Bill Belichick is a better coach than Dennis Allen. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there ain't even no debate. Quino, I'm not doing any call-ins, man. We go hold off on the call-ins and until we'll probably, ain't no probably. We'll be back when the schedule comes out. When the schedule comes out, that's when I'm opening up the phone lines. I'm opening up the phone lines again. When the new schedule comes out, which that's gonna be in the next couple of days, folks, because I gotta do an episode on Bleacher Report this week about that. And speaking of this week, on tomorrow, if you're actually watching this live on a Monday night, Ross Jackson will be on the State of the Saints podcast tomorrow. Be talking to him about the New Orleans Saints moves, the draft picks. So be on the lookout for that. That should be coming out on tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get Dr. Jesse Moyes on the show, orthopedic surgeon, talk to us a little bit about the injury to Ryan Ramczyk, trying to help us understand that. And I'm trying to get some more guests on the show as well, man. Yeah, we're gonna go from there. But thank y'all for supporting the show. 250 people watching this right now. Please hit the like button. Let's see. Any active coaches is better than DA on his worst day. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have Ross on the show, man. It's been a while since me and Ross kind of linked up. He's been on the show before. Of course, y'all know he's extremely busy, man. So just to get a few minutes of Ross's time is always great, man. He's a great person. I mean, I know him off the record. So, I mean, I what you see on camera is that's Ross Jackson every day. So shouts out to him. Much respect to him. He's doing it, man. And when you see where Ross actually came from, like, and how he just worked his way up into what he's doing right now, you have no choice but to respect that. So I know, some people, I don't know what they got. Like, if you got a problem with Ross Jackson, man, like, I don't know. You need to check yourself. That dude is like one of the most positive people I know. like it's one of them things like where you see good things happen to good people, and it's like, okay, I understand. Like, yeah, but people like, man, Ross, like you got a problem with Ross Jackson. Like, you need to check yourself for real. Andres signed with the Raiders. I'm happy for Andres Pete. I'm happy for him. I'm not gonna pretend like, the sky's falling. We need an Andres so bad. Like, nah, bro. We was talking about this man, talking about him slipping and sliding all around the field. Nah, we can't act like this dude was all world now that he plays a position that we need him. Like, I'd rather move on. Like, seriously, I'd rather move on. This is the biggest issue that we have. Because we find ourselves when we're in peril. I'm talking to you. We find ourselves when we're in peril. We want to go back. We badmouth the dudes, talk bad about them, and then all of a sudden, when we have like this huge, obvious hole in the middle that just staring right there in your face, all of a sudden, like, well, you know what? He wasn't really that bad. It's almost like that gift with Alonzo Mourning and Gary Payton kind of just sitting on the sidelines, and Alonzo Mourning just like, that's kind of how we feel. I'm okay with the Saints moving on. I'm okay with it. I wish Andres Pete all the success in the world. I wish him all the success in the world. But if we're going to get out of this funk, you got to be able to embrace the now. We got to be able to embrace the future. And the future, it may come with a few hiccups, but I'm okay with that as long as we're getting to the destination. I'm good with it. I'm not going to act like Pete all world because he played pretty stable at left tackle. Like, okay. But who's to say that he plays like that this year? I mean, good luck to him. Good luck. Mike T still not on a team. I think teams going wait to see what they have after these undrafted free agent signings. But I do see him going to the Chiefs or some team contending for veteran help. Yeah, this ain't no surprise to me. You combine like the injury history of Mike T, some of the erratic behavior of Mike T, that might turn some teams off, and teams are probably going to look at what they have. They probably going to wait to have the training camp. Unfortunately, guys get hurt. We always get those reports, such and such out for the season. We always get them, folks. And that opens up opportunities for seasoned veterans like Mike T. So it ain't over for him, but he probably just gonna have to sit down for a little while before they call his phone. I'm worried more about the Saints O-line than ever. Fuaga is only one player. Well, look, I think Eric McCoy is good. I think Cesar Ruiz took steps forward. I like Ali Udo if he was to play like guard. I mean, that I like I like Heron. I think Heron is good. I think Lemieux is good. Like these guys are talented. Like don't get it twisted now. Like these guys have started a lot of games in this league. So yeah, it's a little bit of patchwork, but this is what happens. Like when you try to rebuild the team. And I'm okay. Look, I'm okay with the Saints not being very good. Like because I expect for them not to be very good, which would be a pleasant surprise if they end up being better than we anticipate. Right? I'm okay with that. Like saying the Saints going to the Super Bowl, that's just wishful thinking. Like that's at this point, it is just wishful thinking. Will we love it? Absolutely. I'll be saying who that on top of my house with the big horn that my wife bought a couple Christmases back. I would be that excited. But at the same time, I'm not expecting that. And I just think that we just have to lower our expectations until this team proves to us that it is worth, they're giving us something to look forward to. I just want to see some improvement. That's it. I want to see some improvement. I want to see some better play. I want to see some better offensive strategies. I want to see guys taking a leap from last year to this year. If I'm seeing stuff like that, I'm good because I know what his team is. And right now they're trying to figure it out. They're not fooling me. I don't look. Some of you probably look at these press conferences and take what they say at face value. I haven't reached that conclusion yet. I can't go against it, but I damn sure can make an argument that what is happening is not lining up with what they're actually saying. So until that actually happens, I mean, it's fair game. But I just expect for them to get better. I just want to see them get better. I'm not sitting up here saying Super Bowl, baby. Like, nah, bro, Drew Brees ain't up in there. Like, shoot, I mean, I ain't that confident. I love my team. I want to see them win. I think they're a playoff team if they can put it all together. But Super Bowl, deep playoff run, like, man, you got to be the biggest Saints fan on God's green earth to believe that after what you have seen over the last couple of years. I'm still buzzed from Friday. It was epic. Or Billy Turner. Him and Chris Hubbard are free agent tackles. Yeah, but I mean, look, you may not really know that much about Lemieux and Heron or Ali Udo, but man, get these guys opportunities, man. Like, I get it. Oh, if they were so good, why the team didn't sign them? I get all that, man. But look, we got to be able to turn the page. We got to be able to turn the page, and we got to trust the process. And if the process don't work, then you can go out here. Like, I don't know what Ali Udo can bring to the table. I don't know how good Nick Saldiveri got from year 1 to year 2. I mean, I think Landon Young is who he is. Kind of plays that little Will Clapp role, across the offensive line. Like, we don't know what these guys are going to be with this new coaching staff, with this new offense. So I have a wait and see approach. I'm not out here like, oh, just because Justin Herron is not, a name that I recognize that has been in the league and has given us stability. I mean, giving this team stability year in, year out. Like, okay, sometimes guys just need opportunities, a few reps, and a coach not just willing to just to yank them quickly, and they end up like getting it together. So may not recognize the guys, but I mean, if you weren't like knee deep in the game, like, did you know who Larry Warford was and how good he was for Detroit? Like some of these guys, like it just takes opportunities for them to be able to come in. So giving them a chance. They may be unheralded. They may not be on your playlist. But guess what? Give these guys opportunities. I mean, I wouldn't want nobody just to look at me and be like, man, give me an opportunity to show you that I can get the job done. And I'm willing to do that. And I ask that you do that too. TJ, what's your favorite po' boy? Man, come on now. Y'all already know what it is. Hot sausage on French dressed. Hadn't hot sausage. That's my favorite po' boy. Let's see. I'm just riding. Let me see the coast this season. Still have no expectations. Just going to enjoy the view. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. That's basically all you can do. Aaron said he thanked you and me. TJ, he said I was his number one supporter when he started his channel. Yeah, man. I mean, Aaron, yeah, shouts out to Aaron, man. I mean, yeah, man. Aaron is, I always say, man, I got so much respect for that guy, man. I really do. I got so much respect for him. I think he's a star. Like I think he's a star in the making. I think that he's intelligent. I think he's witty. I think he checks all the boxes to be a really great podcaster. So yeah, man. I mean, yeah, he's definitely a star in the making, and he's talented. So yeah, shouts out to Aaron. And I'll just see what happened. We attempted to sign David Bakhtiari. Probably because he's old and had injury history, And like I said, maybe the Saints trying to do something different. I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at the fact that these guys aren't household names who they signed on the offensive line. I'm just not. Because number one, this is what's going to bring you back to the middle when it comes to the salary. Like, make us try to be as competitive as you possibly can. Try to win some football games, but at the same time, try to draft well, work your way back to the middle. So in a couple of years, like you can be where you need to be in order to make a run at it. Like I ain't got to be out here trying to exhaust my spending on a player, who probably passed his prime, and I'm just gonna sign him. Like, did we learn anything from the Adrian Peterson signing? Adrian Peterson was a name. Champ Bailey was a name. These guys were, I don't want to call them washed, but they were past their prime. They were past their prime. So I'm good. I mean, you got Shane Lemieux. Shane Lemieux is what, 26? Justin Herron is just turned 28. I'm okay with that. Versus going out here getting a 34, 35-year-old David Bakhtiari who has way more battle scars. I mean, been to way more wars. This man has been in the Mexican War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, and we still out there trying to put him on the front line. Come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Like, I get David Bakhtiari he is a talented player, flirting with the Hall of Fame. And in some circles, he may be a potential Hall of Famer, probably like a couple ballots down, not right after 5 years of eligibility, but he gonna eventually get there. But at the same time, man, get these young guys opportunities. It's a young man's game. It is a young man's game. It's not a familiar man game. It's a young man's game. Feel free to disagree, and you probably touched on this. With his restructured deal, this signals the end and should put the medical staff on notice. They better get it together with players and injuries, says Brandon. I don't want to say I disagree with that. I agree with the point where I feel like this is the unfortunately, this is the end for Ryan Ramczyk. I hope that I'm wrong. But, I mean, this medical staff, Just like any other medical staff in the National Football League, like they're a team first, right? And sometimes these guys got to get those opinions of outside sources who don't have, excuse me to all my PETA folk out there, but a dog in the fight, right? It's just an analogy. It's not an actual thing. I ain't trying to see no dogs fighting, all right? I don't PETA on my behind. But anyway, all I'm saying is, like when it comes to the team and you know what I'm saying, and like Ryan Ramczyk, yeah, this probably signals the beginning of the end. And I think that any medical staff is going to look out for the organization, and they're going to try to do what they can to put those players on the field if they can. But I don't want, like, they did change around this medical staff, and maybe maybe you need to bring something in, something else in. Maybe you need to maybe get somebody in here who is more knowledgeable of modern medicine, or maybe somebody need to get the TB12 method. I don't know, holler at Alex Guerrero or something, like shoot, somebody holler at him. Seemed like he worked for Brady. I see high blood pressure days are coming. Well, let's hope not, man. TJ, you think Loomis was blowing smoke when he said the Kool-Aid pick had nothing to do with Lattimore? I agree with that. I agree with it. I mean, you have to think about the production that you lost with Isaac Adam. Isaac Adam, like, once again, not a household name, right? But came in there and played very formidable in the absence of an all-pro cornerback or a multi-time Pro Bowl cornerback in Marshawn Lattimore. But would we have known this? And this guy was traveled around the league quite a bit. But he was given the opportunity and he took advantage of it. But no, to answer your question, Keen Arthur, I don't think it has anything to do with them trying to shop around Lattimore. I think that the Saints know that this league is a passing-driven league. They're playing a lot of teams this season with great quarterback play. You got to play against Justin Herbert. You got to play against Patrick Mahomes. You got to go against a rookie in Bo Nix, Kirk Cousins. Y'all can laugh all you want to, but Kirk Cousins ain't no slouch. Baker Mayfield can get hot on you. Like you're playing against some talented quarterbacks this season. I mean, Dak Prescott, like him or not, you can make fun of him, but man, Dak can throw for 300-400. We've seen it done on several occasions. You need some cornerbacks. And I ain't mad at the New Orleans Saints for doing this. This makes perfect sense to me. The more cornerbacks that you have, the deeper your depth is. If somebody was to go down, they can pick up the slack. You cannot just what they say, you cannot just build your house on sand, like the Bible says. You just can't go with the like, okay, I got Lattimore, I'm good. I got Paulson, I'm good. I got Latte, I'm good, man. Rest of y'all, man, okay, it is what it is. One pass that gets deflected, come down wrong, ankle, come down on an ankle, knee bend awkwardly. Then the next thing you know, you putting Osama Young in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to Osama Young, but there was a huge drop-off from Jabari Greer, Tracy Porter, and Osama Young. Like, if you can get yourself a young player who can probably fill that role and has the potential to be a lockdown, shutdown, or a very formidable cornerback, like, you get them. They want to throw the football in the league, King Arthur. You know that, man. You already know, brother. Like, they want to throw this football. And the more guys you have back there in the secondary that can, get their hands on a football, turn the ball over, deflect those passes, you want to get it. So I don't think it had anything to do with Marshawn Lattimore. I don't. Maybe like psychologically, maybe, but I don't think it was the full reason why they got him. I mean, I think they got him because he was the best player available at a position that everybody needs. Everybody needs good cornerback play. I think Laddie Daddy will get an extension. I don't know, man. I don't know. If Paulson and Debo have another season like he did last year, you might look at it. It might be one of those casualties for Marshawn Lattimore, because you always want to go with the young guy, right? You always want to go with the younger guy over the older veteran. So if Paulson has another season like he did last season, the Saints more than likely will probably pay him before they pay Lattimore. And then they probably would feel like, hey, you know what? We got Kool-Aid. Especially if Kool-Aid play well. TJ, that's the case. Why he leaves his answer open ended by saying, "If we get a crazy offer, everybody's available." Well, I mean but that's just the truth, Kenoth. That's just the truth. Nobody is, nobody's safe. Like if if you get let's say like you're an elite quarterback, then you hanging the phone up. But I guess they're looking at like you got some talented cornerbacks out there, or if somebody offering you multiple number one picks for Lattimore, I'm sorry, man, like that's an offer that you can't really refuse there. So I guess if the offer is sexy enough, then why not take it? But I don't think that there's the ultimate issue. It's almost like, I don't know, you go to a store, you buy a player's exclusive Jordan for $200, right? Spend $220 or something like that with tax included. Put the shoes on. Somebody said, somebody sees you, right? And all of a sudden it was like, man, I wanted to get them shoes, man. Man, what size you wear? I wear a size 12. Man, me too. Man, I give you $400 for them. Now you just that's something to think about, right? You paid $200 for a pair of Jordans, right? Somebody going to give you double what you paid for. Guess what? I think I'll be walking home with socks on. So I mean, like you didn't anticipate that happening. And trust, this was a true story, by the way. I'm being serious. Like this actually happened. Like, but I had slippers. But I had slippers in my backpack, so I kindly took took them shoes off, put them slippers on. Cause I mean it wasn't 400, but at the time like Jordans was like 150. Like when I was working at Foot Action in the Gentilla Wood Mall. This is a true story right here. And the black and red 12s came out, right? They came back out again, right? And y'all know how it is, man. Certain Jordans, they come around, they become exclusive. They don't come out for a long time. They come in different color variations. So anyway, I get the shoes, I'm at the bus stop. I'm chilling, what I'm saying? I got the shoes on. Warm that day to school, right? So I'm at the Galvez bus stop on Gentilla Boulevard over there, you know what I'm saying? And dude was like, man, them new 12s? I was like, yeah, man, new 12s. He's like, man, I give you $300 for them. I looked that dude clean out like this and gave him the shoe right. For real. That man gave me $300 on the spot. I had like them, y'all know them prison slippers. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. The little slippers that had the little stripes on there that you get like from Walmart. the thick plastic sole at the bottom. I put them jailhouse slippers on, boy. But I was $300 rich. Did not care. And then the thing about it was, so if you work at a shoe store, and some of y'all already know this, you get like a 30% discount, right? So, I had a choice. Like I can go and get these shoes again. I can easily like just call another store. They could put them up for me, but I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I just, I don't know, wore some, I think I had some Bo Jacksons or something like that. But at the end of the day, long story short, like the $1 million man say, every man has a price is my point, like they probably not looking to shop him, but if the opportunity presents itself, if it's a sexy offer, like, of course, the old Gentilla Wood Mall on Chef. Yep. That's why I used to work. I used to work that Foot Action there. I worked there my senior year of high school at Colville High School. Yep. And yeah, man, that was a fun experience, man. It was a fun experience. Always, man, it was cool because you get all these exclusive shoes and stuff like that. And people, shouts out to my classmates. They always want you to put them up, and I made money like that too. I can tell y'all now, I don't work there no more. They'll be like, man, look, I give you $40 to put these 8s up. Guess what? Hiding in the back, man. They ain't doing inventory count. hey, man, I got somebody coming in. All they will say is, man, have them here by 2:00. You stall a little bit, I mean, look, recipe to Soulja Slim. I sold Soulja Slim some J's. I sold Manny Fresh some t-shirts. Yeah, I go back, man. You know what I'm saying? The 4 for $20. So Manny Fresh those, man. So yeah, but those were fun times right there, man. It taught me a lot. That was my first job. How cool was that? 17-year-old kid and your first job is at a shoe store. Bo Jackson's is insane. Yeah, man, Bo Jackson's. Yeah, I had quite a few. I had quite a few pairs of Bo Jackson. Got the black and white, had the red and white. Um, I had the orange and green, which was Carver High School colors. That was pretty dope. Yeah, man. I used to be I used to be a hat and a shoe collector. As y'all know, we at the end of the show. So it's a free fall. Like, send your question. It ain't gotta be Saints related. We at the end of the show. But actually hit the like button if you're about to leave. But anyway, I used to collect hats. I used to collect like Jordan as well, man. But I was like I had a bunch of hats. Like when Katrina hit, like that was like that was the most tragic thing to me. I mean, that goes to show you where my mind was at the time. Like I lost all them hats. That was a hellified hat collection. TJ, you ever had a pair of them Sperry's? Man, I got Sperry now. Talking about chosen. What you mean? I got a pair of Sperry's in the closet right now that I ain't never wore. But I ain't get the ones that tie up. I got the smooth boys. You know what I'm saying? my boy, if my boy Smitty watching this right now, I got them Chris Smitty's. My boy, man, shoot, he works for Walmart, man, and he always got them smooth boys on. I got them Smitties on. Shouts out to my boy, that's my guy, man. Hello, everyone. Shouts to you, TJ. Man, shouts out to you, Don. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you for that. Yeah, man. Look. Yeah, I had a smooth boys, man. Man, my wife, that's the one that be putting me in the game, man. Like, shoot, my wife, that's the thing about, your ladies, right? Because well, guys should know this. Like, when your woman buy you something, it's like they want to see you in this, right? They feel like you look good in it. So, a lot of the shoes that I have, especially like casual shoes, my wife probably bought me. Like, she bought me like, a few, like she'll buy me shoes like for like Father's Day or, Christmas or something like that. But I've been, not recently, I've been kind of like trying to change up the shoe wardrobe. I've been having like some of my shoes for like years. So I just think that it's time to like change those out. You ever had like, just a bunch of shoes you accumulate over years of clothes? You're like, man, I just think that I just need to refresh some things. So that's where I'm at right now. So TJ, if you're bullish on a player, why not give a definitive answer? Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. But that could be, that could be a subliminal. That could be a Drake right there. You know what I'm saying? Sending them light shots. You know what I'm saying? It could be it. I was working at Athlete Foot on Canal. Man, David, yeah, man. Shouts out to my guy Pierre, man. Yeah, Pierre was like my first manager who was at Foot Action with me, and then he left there, became the store manager over there at Athlete Foot on Canal. Yeah, so that was my guy right there, man. Gave me my first opportunity. I like Pierre, man. That's good people right there. TJ, I got Kendrick up on Drake. Me too. Me too. Me too. Let's see. I was wrong when I said you're the greatest independent Saints podcast, because truth is you're the greatest independent NFL podcast, period. The fan says. I appreciate that, Josh. I really do, man. Look, I don't know if I'm the best or not. I think that I do my best. I try to work as hard as I possibly can. I try not to phone it in. I try to give, content that people can enjoy, and a perspective that's a little bit different from everybody else. I mean, I ain't saying, everybody else isn't special. Everybody has their own unique way of doing things, but I like to bring a little entertainment aspect to it, as well as, have conversations. So, I mean, I enjoy doing this podcast. I enjoy doing podcasting in general. Like, I haven't had, like, 2024 has been the best time for me to do podcasting, because I used to be in my head a lot about podcasting and, why can't I just reach this plateau? Why haven't I reached this? But now it's like, since I stopped caring about that type of stuff, like I've been enjoying everything I put out because I'm not just doing it because I want to be over here. Like I'm fine, you know what I'm saying? As long as I create content that people can enjoy, one person, two people, you know what I'm saying? A multitude of people. I'm happy with it. Like I just enjoy doing podcasts. I enjoy talking sports. So TJ, just don't leave Loomis to do Lattimore like Toronto did DeRozan. Tell him he's valued and you're not trading him only to turn around and trade him the following week. Where's the integrity? Well, I mean, it's a dog eat dog world out here, King Arthur. It is, man. I mean, it's a business. These it's cutthroat, dog. It's cutthroat, my man. Like it's a business, right? I mean, you're only as loyal as the next opportunity that presents itself. That's just the reality of the world. That's the reality of any business for the most part. A lot of sharks. A lot of sharks out here. I ain't calling Mickey Loomis a shark. All I'm saying is like you gotta have a shark like mentality sometimes, you know, if you're gonna get where you need to be, because this is a results driven business, right? And if you're not generating results, people gonna get mad, organizations gonna get mad, players gonna get mad. So you got to do what's best for the team. And sometimes, you know, it might be one of those decisions where people get mad for the time being, but as time goes on, it becomes understandable. Josh says, change your last name to, what is that, Husmanzada for more. Nah, I think I'm good on that. You know, I think I'm good with my last name, which is Jones. I don't need to. I don't need to put nothing out there that somebody can't spell. I can't even spell. Thank you, though, Josh, for the $2. I appreciate that, man. But we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. Thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Once again, I just ask that everybody follow me on Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report. Let me make sure I go ahead and put that link down in the description for everybody. But yeah, I mean, I'm on Bleacher Report. You know, covering the New Orleans Saints. Had opportunity to work the first year of the draft, which was pretty doggone cool. Great opportunity, you know, great opportunities to do that, and it's just like, man, I worked my behind off to get to that point. You know, I'm like, I will take a little victory lap on that. Like it ain't been easy, man. You know, like I said, I don't have like the cachet as some of these other like Saints reporters that do podcasts and people that cover the team that has all that inside stuff, man. I mean, when y'all see me out like at the Senior Bowl, you see me at the combine, man. Like, man, I work my tail off of that. Nobody gave me that. So when I get opportunities like this, man, I feel blessed. You know, and I just, want people, if you love the State of Saints podcast, you love the content, I just ask that you support. That's it. You know, if you don't want to support, that's fine. I'm cool with that. You know, I ain't mad at nobody, but if you, if you can, I'm just asking everybody, to support. You can go to Bleacher Report, download the Bleacher Report app, and search for me, TJ Jones. It'll come up. You can go ahead and hit that follow button. I want to make sure I'm giving you all the right link, because I know sometimes like these links don't always bring you to the right place. Let me know that I'm doing that as of right now. I know normally I don't I don't do this, but let's see. Okay, so yeah, I think the link that's inside there should take you there. If not, you can just search TJAY Jones. It should come up. If you follow me on X, I'll make sure that I put that link there. If you follow me on Facebook, you can also check out the link. It's probably the most recent post that I put. Just click the link, and it'll bring you directly there. Hit that follow. All right. But thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content. Shouts out to everybody here. Shouts out to all the people that commented. You already know, man. For those that wasn't here earlier, I said that, we made a show for the people that watch the show after the show, right? After the live stream, right? we got the after show boys, which, everybody, now everybody talk about the ASBs out here, you know what I'm saying? ASB shirts on the way, you know what I'm saying? So if you're after show boy, you know what I'm saying? After show, girl, lady, you know what I'm saying? We shouts out to you. We're going to have them after show boys, after show girls, t-shirts on the way. But, I just felt like it was only right. It's only right that we make a song for those that be here live, right? In the chat. Representing, right? Giving great content, asking great questions here on the State of the Saints podcast. And y'all already know, man, if you don't know, all you have to do is put them comments in the chat.
Hey, what's going on? It's TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and we're about to do what it do, baby. You probably have something to say about the black and gold that's burning hard in your soul. Take those fingers, give them the working. Put them comments in the chat.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you gotta do is go ahead and put them things in the chat.
I wanna hear what you gotta say.
I wanna hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Oh, you ain't gotta worry about it. All you gotta do is talk to me. I talk back to you now.
Put those comments, put them in the chat.
All you gotta do is put them comments in the chat.
I wanna hear what you gotta say.
I wanna hear from you.
Talk to me and not talk back.
Talk to me. I guarantee you, I'm gonna talk right back to you.
Yeah, so shouts out to everybody that's out there, man. Put them comments in the chat. If you love the State of the Saints podcast, put them comments in the chat. You ain't got no super chat money, put it in the chat. You want to talk about Derek Carr, put it in the chat, all right? But of course, gave a shout out to everybody here. So it's only right that we give a shout out. Shouts out to them after show boys.
Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting, they be tweeting and be posting, they be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys. They be tweeting and be posting, they be tweeting and be posting, they be tweeting. Yeah, them after show boys.
Shouts out to all the after show boys, after show ladies out there, man. Appreciate y'all. Follow me on X, TJAY Jones 8. Previous episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Have a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. Like always, all I got to say is, who that? Pac-Man.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.